Estamos en pretemporada, hay muchos jugadores que no están trabajando con nosotros porque están aprovechando el parón después del descanso después del Mundial, y lo que queremos es dar una buena impresión, ver cómo se encajan los jóvenes valores en el primer equipo y tratar de estar en el mejor momento posible.
No, I think it's to keep going, working, good tempo, high tempo, working the way that we want to develop the shop during the whole season. And I think we are going to change a little bit our system, but on the end to keep our principles.
So the views there of the Spurs boss Mauricio Pochettino. It's great to have the ex-Spurs striker Clive Ather alongside me for this game, and two teams here who like to entertain, so this should be a good game to watch.
I think it'd be a fantastic exhibition of open attacking football. Obviously both teams in their preparations for their relatively new season, young players, opportunity knocks for them with the seniors and the World Cup players still not available, so lots of excitement for these youngsters coming into a game of this magnitude.
Look here at some of the new players who've been brought in this summer by Barcelona. ᴛᴏᴛᴛᴛᴇɪ, they're the defender. Before that, Arthur, the midfield player, signed from Grêmio. A bit of a rebuilding job for Barca, with some of their quite experienced players who've left, the likes of Iniesta, Mascherano over the past 6-12 months or so.
Well, what boots these young potential players have to feel, and it's exactly the same for the youngsters at Spurs as well.
And here's the Spurs squad going through their paces. Fernando Llorente, an old stager amongst their youthful squad here this summer, but a player who scored a couple of the goals in that win against Roma. Likewise, this man here, Lucas Moura, and a big year ahead now for him.
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. It was. I thought he was just introduced slowly into the Premier League when arriving from PSG last season. Big season ahead for him.
And maybe also for this man in defence, Cameron Carter-Vickers, now a full USA international. And if reports are to believe, and Toby Alderweireld may well be departing Spurs this summer, it could well be a big season coming up for him. Let's have a look at the schedules for these two teams at the tournament. Spurs won the first game 4-1. They play Milan in their last game in a few days' time. It's the first match for Barcelona. They also play Roma and Milan themselves in the week ahead. So it's around about 8 p.m. local time at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. It's match number 15 of 27 games in North America, Europe and Singapore in this 6th edition of this wonderful tournament. It runs until the 11th of August, each club playing the 3 games before the champions are crowned. And it's a great chance for the fans to come in and watch star names from these giant clubs from all over Europe. And on show here, in the shape of Barcelona, a team who've been crowned champions of Europe 5 times before. That's the sort of success which Spurs crave, and it's a path towards that success which Spurs are on right now. They've been building really well over the past few years under Mauricio Pochettino. Keeping hold of some of their key players is a big part of that upward trajectory, but maybe adding in some of these younger names too might be a sign of things to come for Tottenham going forward. So Barcelona up against Tottenham Hotspur, a match to savour in the 2018 International Champions Cup, and a stage for some of these players to really embrace and try to impress. Amongst them there, André Gomes, the Portuguese international of Barcelona, who was left out of their squad for the World Cup a few weeks ago, and a player whose future may well be in the spotlight. A number of those on show here, particularly for Barcelona. Men trying to stake their claim for more regular action this season for Ernesto Valverde, now in his 2nd year in charge of the Catalan Giants. Son there back from duty with South Korea at the back of that Tottenham line. He'd scored 2 goals at the World Cup. although South Korea went out in the group stage, albeit off the back of that very famous win over the then world champions Germany. So the usual pre-match photographs for the two teams here. Spurs side there being led tonight by the Dane, Christian Eriksen. He has the captain's armband in the absence of Hugo Lloris and also the likes of Harry Kane too, yet to return from their summer holidays after their exploits away in Russia. Sergi Roberto wears the captain's armband tonight for Barcelona. And the man in charge is Kevin Stott, an MLS referee for 20 years now, based here in California. He was also referee for the 2006 World Cup finals, which took place in Germany. Well, the bulk of this Barcelona squad is a young one. Many players have been called up from their B team, and the spine of their normal team is to the way tonight, so no Lionel Messi amongst many others. But two of their summer signings do start this one. Defender ᴛᴏᴛᴛᴛᴇɪ, who arrived from Sevilla, and the midfielder Arta from Grêmio. He'll wear number 4. Munir El Haddadi will lead the attack. He's had a few loans away over the past few years. And on the bench, a bit more know-how in the likes of the German goalkeeper Marc-Andre ter Stegen and Alex Vidal and Paco Alcacer. A couple of more experienced names on their bench. The Spurs, match number 2 in the space of 4 days in the US for them. And they've had a couple of players who really stole the show in that game against Roma. 2 goals for Llorente and also for Lucas Moura. They start once again here. Just 2 changes made for this game. 1 in goal with Gazzaniga coming in place of Michel Vorm. And Son playing on the right side there midfield. He's replaced Eric Lamela. Davinson Sanchez amongst those on a youthful bench there for Tottenham, back from duty with Colombia at the World Cup in Russia. So Spurs are more advanced in terms of their preparations. Their second game here, as their domestic campaign begins a week before that of Barcelona. So we'll see if these Tottenham players are more well-tuned ahead of the off of their domestic campaign. It will be Spurs who get the match underway here. In their familiar white jerseys. There's 24 years to go when this was the stage for a World Cup final. Just a fortnight on from this year's final. A new campaign looming ever larger now for Barcelona and Tottenham Hotspur. And in front of this large global spotlight in the International Champions Cup. A chance for some fine-tuning in this historic setting. Clive Allen watching here with me. Before the game, we heard Mauricio Pochettino say that maybe Spurs may experiment with their shape and their system. Do you see that happening tonight?
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity for that, but he has started with that block of 6 that he did against Roma, the back 4, with Amos and Sissoko, the 2 holding midfield players protecting that back 4. They could flick to a 3 with 2 wing-backs, obviously. Kyle Walker-Peters on the left could become a left-sided wing-back and Aurier on the right, which he's deployed Aurier in particular in the Champions League in that manner. So yes, there's got to be flexibility, and that's something in a game like this that you can experiment with.
We are around halfway through this year's International Champions Cup. And Spurs, one of the big winners from the opening round of games, hoping to make it 2 wins in a row. It's the first sighting of Barcelona, the might of Barcelona at this year's tournament.
Well, there's a lot of young faces in this Barcelona team, but you know that they're going to play in exactly the same manner that any senior, very experienced Barcelona team will play. It's all about possession-based, certainly moving the ball efficiently and quickly with movement as well.
First view for the Barca fans of the likes of Longley in their defence, and this man here, number 4, Arthur in midfield. And right back is Nelson Semedo, Portuguese international. And here he is once again. Real buzz from the fans here whenever Barca gain possession. think the Spurs fans may be outnumbered here by Californians who are supporting the Giants from Catalonia. There's the Spurs boss, Mauricio Pochettino.
It's a really interesting predicament that Mauricio has with so many of his senior players away at the World Cup, now taking their break, won't return to the fold, and probably a week before the Premier League season starts. So opportunity knocks for many of these young players to start the season for Spurs in the Premier League.
He's not been a man too often over the past few years, Pochettino, who's been one to moan, but he has been just suggesting that the start date this year for the Premier League is a week too early, the transfer deadline ending before the campaign starts. Not too enamoured by that either.
No, exactly. I think that he knows what he's up against, and maybe not initially at the beginning of the Premier League season will it take effect, but I feel that maybe a couple of months in, with so many of his players having been through the summer, deep into the World Cup, that they may feel the effects of that.
It's England and Belgian players who reached semi-finals, and the man who raised the World Cup trophy aloft, Hugo Lloris, the Spurs captain too.
Yeah, I think it was some 9 or 10 of Mauricio's frontliners that were there right at the end of the World Cup this summer.
It's Semedo for Barcelona, who are equally short of many of their star names. Sergi Roberto. Where's number 20? There's Arthur. Now Andre Gomez, Longley. Left back, one of the young guns, Juan Miranda, who's just 18. This is Denis Suarez. Good defending by Aurier.
Yeah, good strength from Aurier, winning the ball and keeping it for his team.
Here's Lucas Moura. Lovely close control by him. And then losing out, though. With a big pre-season behind him. Should be a good foundation now for Lucas Moura to really show what he can do in the coming 9 months or so.
Yeah, he'll be looking to force his way into the team on a more regular basis. It was spasmodic, his appearances. I think that was planned by Mauricio Pochettino just to ease him into the Premier League fray.
There's a player who lost his place playing for Paris Saint-Germain after they signed the likes of Mbappe and Neymar.
Yeah, that was quite a squad he was competing in.
There's the man in charge of Barca now for a second campaign, Ernesto Valverde, double winner in his first year in charge. Trying to replace Luis Enrique. He's now in charge of the Spain national team for their chaotic summer.
But what a job he has, trying to replace, as you were saying, some of those playing Iniesta, players of unbelievable quality. To find players of that ability is so difficult to do, and to bring them into your team and carry on being successful as well.
And the changing of the guard going on gradually for Barcelona. They've gained some youthfulness this summer. Maybe lost a wee bit of experience. A nice bit of skill once again from Lucas Moura.
Yeah, pace and trickery from Lucas Moura. Real confidence when in possession of the ball.
As I mentioned, he scored 2 goals in that 4-1 win against Rome in San Diego on Wednesday. It was a game where Spurs actually were a goal down inside 3 minutes, but bounced back with 4 before half-time.
Yeah, there was almost shocked into action in that particular game, but responded really well, scoring 4 before the break.
Well, that's a poor pass there. Barca could be in here. And it's the first big chance of the game for them. It was Munir, who did have options there to his left-hand side, went for goal himself, and might have made more of that, Clive.
Yeah, really sloppy pass from Cole Walker-Peters, playing the ball square, straight to Munir's feet. I just thought that he almost had too much time. He was trying to weigh it up. Possibly a slight bobble as he struck the ball, but a let-off for Spurs there.
The foul on Son, who is a player who Spurs are going to be without at the start of the campaign. He's set to be in the South Korean squad for the Asian Games coming up in Indonesia. A robust challenge there from Andre Gomez.
Yeah, high right wrist catching Song in the face. I thought Song was Spurs' most consistent player last season, outstanding. Yes, Harry Kane returned the goals, but Song was a valuable part of the success that Tottenham had.
He's always been called an underrated player, but I think that changed last year, didn't it? I think people started to realise actually how good he is.
Yeah, the value that he brought to the team. Certainly his pace was always a threat.
He is on the dart again up against Semedo. Typical Song. So industrious, but Semedo has come away with it. Here's Arthur.
By the right back, the full-back Semedo does really well there because hurried by Song.
Good ball back to the goalkeeper, ջ=ᴜᴜ, but Barcelona there, as they often do, play their way out of danger superbly.
Yeah, real pressure from Spurs, but such confidence from Barcelona. Great possession play out from a dangerous area.
And they're still going. This will be some goal if they can get on the end of this. It is Andre Gomez. Carter Vickers, an excellent tackle.
Really good tempo to the start of the game.
Yeah, first game this of the pre-season for Barcelona. Spurs had a couple of games back in the UK before they came out to the US.
This is Carter Vickers' tackle. It has to be strong, committed. Comes out with the ball cleanly.
Here's Longley, signed for a fee of around about €35 million from Sevilla. He's a highly rated defender. I doubt he'll be a regular in the first team when the likes of Piqué come back. It's very much a squad game these days. Denis Suarez. Longley, one of the other youngsters in the team, the number 5, Marlon, who spent last season playing in French football with Nice. He's 22 years of age. Now Miranda, called up from the Barcelona B team. He's yet to make his senior competitive debut. Important intervention there by Carter Vickers, with Munir lurking behind him.
Yeah, he's tried to run in behind Vickers. Spurs keeping a high line and good interception. He started well as Carter Vickers.
Yeah, how good could he be, Clive? He's had a few loans playing in some of the lower leagues of English football. Maybe a chance this year to stay with the Spurs first-team squad.
Well, I think there's certainly that possibility. Obviously, there's so much speculation about Alderweireld and whether he will remain, whether he'll be sold before the start of the season.
And there's no flag here. There might be now. Then Munir went in. Oh, Denis Suarez there too. High defensive line by Tottenham, and they were exposed there.
Yeah, they got caught on this occasion. And Suarez and Munir, I think, in the end, Munir thinks that he might well have been offside because of this touch there. He then leaves the ball, which is clever play. But Suarez can't capitalise on it. There's 2 shooting opportunities from the edge of the box from Barcelona, which they've passed up.
They've been the brighter team going forward so far. We're yet to see Fernando Llorente get in the action for Tottenham. Walker-Peters playing at left back with a throw. He's a player the Spurs fans really enjoy watching. In a couple of games last season, he was man of the match in the first game of the campaign in the league away at Newcastle.
Yeah, he had an outstanding debut. Young man, full of confidence, will get forward at every opportunity down that left-hand side. Song playing in front of him will come off the line, allowing the space for Kyle Walker-Peters to get forward.
Really difficult for him, though, when you think of Spurs' front-line fullbacks. They have 4, 2 either side, who are top-quality players, so it's a tough ask for him to get in the team again this year.
Yeah, Danny Rose, Ben Davies was playing on the left side of the central defensive position today, but obviously is a left back normally, so fierce competition and always difficult to break into a team when you have so many in front of you.
And ᴍᴜʟᴜ, captain for the night for Barcelona. Arthur. Now it's Semedo. The second choice at right back for much of last season for Barcelona, behind ᴍᴜʟᴜ. Signed from Benfica last summer.
This is where it's a real test for Spurs, and in particular the youngsters, that they can go for long periods without touching the ball, because of wherever they are on the field. Barcelona, they'll look to keep possession. They're not going to play too many long or penetrative balls. They're going to build up from deep positions, keeping possession. A lot of chasing to be done from Spurs this evening.
Lovely switch of play there to find Rafinha, whose pass towards Munir was cut out. There's ― Davies. As you mentioned, playing as a left-sided centre-half tonight, the Welshman. Llorente for Son, now Sissoko. Might be a player, Sissoko, playing for his long-term future with Spurs. There has been some talk that maybe he may be one of those who might be moved on this summer.
I think, to his credit, his opportunities were limited last season in the Premier League, but when he did come in, he showed a level of performance without starting consistently. You do need squad players like that you know can come in, you can rely on to perform at a high level.
It was a busy old campaign last year for Spurs. Finished in third place in the Premier League. Reached the FA Cup semi-finals, the Champions League knockout stage, of course. Did wonderfully well to get through a tough group before they went down against Juventus over 2 legs. Of course, a momentous few weeks coming up for them with the move to their brand new stadium.
Yeah, it's really exciting times, Joe, but one in which I think they would love to put some silverware in the cupboard at the end of this coming season. That has to be the next step on the ladder.
That's a lovely ball in there towards Rafinha and Munir. It's a well-worked goal for Barcelona. But it has been coming. They've been on top. And some fine football there has brought about the breakthrough, and it's Munir El Haddadi who puts Barca a goal in France in California.
He had an earlier chance, a shot from the edge of the box, which he couldn't take. He skied that, but on this occasion, Barcelona worked the ball into the 18-yard box with real quality. From the throw-in possession, the diagonal ball to the back post, and then the awareness, just a nod down to Munir to head in from 2 yards. The Spurs defence not marking, caught out. Real quality goal for Barcelona.
So inside a quarter of an hour, champions of Spain hit the front. And Munir, who spent the past 2 years away on loan at Valencia, and then last year playing with Alaves, will be a big part player in truth with Barcelona's first team setup. But he was there with the poacher's finish at the end of that lovely bit of football, involving ᴍᴜʟᴜ and then Rafinha. And Spurs once again find themselves behind in this International Champions Cup.
Well, people sometimes say it's easy to score goals like that, but you have to get into the position. But the quality of the ball, Roberto's diagonal, and then Rafinha's awareness, he can't score from the tight angle, nods it back across the open goal for Munir to arrive and head in. Superb start from Barcelona.
We'll see now if Spurs can show their powers of recovery again tonight, as they did on Wednesday in San Diego against Roma. A little bit subdued so far.
Sometimes it's always difficult to get going, Joe, when you don't have the ball. You're chasing, you're working hard to retrieve the ball. When you have it, if you give it away cheaply or needlessly, it can be really, really frustrating.
Aurier is balled in. The deflection came the way of Llorente. Aurier with a good cross. Nearly came the way of Lucas Moura. It was touched away by Semedo. Carter Vickers goes back to Ben Davies. ᴛᴏᴛᴛᴇဣ, the man in goal for Spurs this evening. Michel Vorm was the starter in their opening game here. Hugo Lloris, of course, will be the main goalkeeper when the campaign gets going for real. As long as they keep him, there has been some talk of him being linked with a move away. That's what Spurs have done so well over the past few years. Tie down their big players and new contracts. There have been 5 this summer given new deals.
Yeah, it's all part of the plan going forward, the long-term plan of keeping the nucleus of a young, talented squad together.
Good football again here by Barcelona. Andre Gomez back for Denis Suarez. We should also mention the new contract given to the coach this year as well, Mauricio Pochettino, a new 5-year deal for him. Longley. Here's Miranda. It's like maybe an injury been sustained there by, I think it's Denis Suarez, who's just hobbled off. Barcelona may be forced into their first change here inside the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, didn't actually see what happened to him, Joe, but he's left the field of play. Barcelona down to 10 men at the moment.
Nearly given away there by Rafinha, won it back pretty swiftly. Playing with 10 men won't be a big hindrance to a team like Barcelona, but they will have a chance to make that change now. Here's the man whose goal separates these two sides, Munir.
And you just see that he gets the run on Carter Vickers, who just for a second switches off. He follows the diagonal ball to the back post, and Munir quickly attacks the space that is left and gets into a position for Rafinha just to nod the ball back into his path. Really well crafted goal.
Just about kept onside, Munir. Lucas just behind Llorente, nearly came then for Son.
Comes off Semedo at the back. He's done a good job in that right back position, covering at the back post. This time ricochets off of him for Spurs corner.
The first set-piece test this for Barcelona.
I do think Spurs have a threat, have an advantage, an aerial advantage here. If you want someone to deliver, ⴰ is your man.
Eriksen's outswinger played with pace. It was towards Carter Vickers. Here's Lucas. One back by Rafinha, and the break might be on that for Barcelona. Here's Arthur. Support to his right. This is Semedo. Good strong play by him. It was good defending though by Carter Vickers. The last touch off Semedo to goal kick.
Yeah, brilliant from Carter Vickers, because the counter-attack was on. 4v3 for Barcelona. Semedo joining the attack again. One-on-one with Carter Vickers. That's excellent defending.
It doesn't appear as though there's going to be a change in system from Barcelona, with the change forced upon them with Denis Suarez having gone off. By the looks of things, they're still yet to make the change to get back to 11 men once again. Here's Aurier. It's come out to Son, who controlled it well. Looking for Llorente. There's Marlon with the header. And here is that change then. It's taken a while. The alteration will see Carlos Perez coming off the bench wearing number 11. He's just 20. One of those players brought up for the Barcelona B squad.
So it looks as if Suarez had picked up some sort of hamstring injury to the back of the left thigh.
So not the sort of start that Barcelona would have wanted in that sense, but they are a goal up. They've had to make their first change. A reminder that 11 changes can be made by both teams in this International Champions Cup. So we will see plenty of shuffling of the two packs as the game goes on.
I thought it was interesting the other night that Manchester United, Jose Mourinho played with the starting 11 as long as he could before making substitutes. A different sort of type of approach, getting minutes under the belt. Obviously, Maurizio Pochettino, that block of 6, the defensive 6 that he has starting tonight, you just wonder how long they will play. Again, giving them the conditioning needed for the start of the Premier League season.
Well, they just brought on Carlos Perez there, Barcelona, but they're actually still playing with 10 men because there's an injury now been sustained by the Portuguese André Gomes. So that's 2 of their midfield players in trouble. Denis Suarez has been taken off. We'll wait and see whether André Gomes can return himself, but again they're playing a man short. In some ways a useful exercise for them. But
absolutely, yeah, it is, but it's not something you want at this stage of the season. Especially if those players have picked up injuries. As a player, Joe, picking up an injury in pre-season is so frustrating because you never actually make that up. There he is.
Yeah.
Again, he's looking as if he's picked up some sort of strain to the back of his left thigh.
I suppose mentally, from a player's point of view, how much do you want to get yourself up to full speed, but also with, as you say, the back of your mind, not wanting to cause yourself any injuries or any long-term damage.
Absolutely, it is all about getting those minutes in, getting the work done, getting yourself on the start line for the start of the season.
Tottenham season, which starts away at Newcastle in 2 weeks' time now. It's come around very fast this year. As for Barcelona, they have a Super Cup in Spain to play against Sevilla before their league campaign begins against Alaves at the Camp Nou. Here's Rafinha. Semedo could be in here. It's a good save that by ģᴏᴛsᴘᴜr. Plenty of power behind that shot from Semedo.
He's joined the attack so often already in this opening 25 minutes as Semedo, and this time tries to beat ģᴏᴜnsᴘᴜr at that near post. Fierce shot, well parried wide.
So here is the change then, and Riqui Puig is the player who comes off the bench for Barcelona. He's just 18, seen as one of the biggest talents in their famous academy. Here's the corner in towards Marbon. It's away by Luke Amos for Tottenham. There's Puig's first involvement. Lucas with the header. Sissoko. He was Tottenham's record buy when he was brought in from Newcastle, £30 million a couple of years back. Davinson Sanchez now is their record signing. Signed from Ajax last year. He's on the bench for them here tonight.
And he had a fantastic first season, I have to say. I think because of the situation with Alderweireld, maybe played more games than perhaps was expected at the start last season, but when he did, he acquitted himself so well. Maybe one of the reasons that Spurs are considering taking money for Alderweireld before he goes out of contract at the end of next season.
Here's Lucas. And Miranda. Puig. Marbon. Now Longley. He's 23, he's yet to win his first senior cap for France. Very difficult squad to break into. It's World Cup winners, and they left behind so many wonderful players who couldn't force their way to that 23-man World Cup squad. Semedo, great Christian touch from him. Rafinha, Semedo again. That's some game so far. That's a very good block.
Again across to make a really good block, but Semedo has been fantastic getting forward on that right side.
And a free kick won by Arthur. He's been brilliant so far, Nelson Semedo. Also a player who missed out playing at the World Cup. He has been capped by Portugal, but not in their final 23. Miranda. It's a good switch of play. Out to Rafinha. Cross goes Walker-Peters. This is Arthur. Good effort. Oh, it's a wonderful goal. Something superb there from Arthur. The new boy from Brazil, 21 years of age. And the fans here perhaps seeing a future star. A magnificent goal, and it's 2-0 Barcelona.
Well, what a way to introduce yourself to your new supporters. That was a goal of the highest quality. The first one was well crafted. Again, the big switch from left to right. Rafinha this time just cuts back on his favoured left foot and then rolls it beautifully to Arthur. He has time to take a touch, but when he takes that touch, he sets himself up for the finish, and the finish is exquisite. Away to the right-hand corner, giving the goalkeeper absolutely no chance. Two superb goals from Barcelona. Real test now for Spurs.
Absolutely sublime from Arthur. He signed a 6-year deal with Barca for a fee around about 30 million euros. It was a deal which was announced back in March. This is his first outing in that famous jersey. And what a way to mark it.
And they have deserved it, Joe. You've got to say the way they've controlled possession, the way they've crafted the two goals. They've lost two players through injury. It's almost seamless the way that they just introduce two substitutes. It doesn't change anything in terms of the way that they play. This is where Mauricio Pochettino will learn a lot about his young players that are out there for him this evening as well.
One of the best goals we've seen at this tournament so far this summer. Before the half-hour mark, a buffer of a 2-goal lead now for Barcelona. And their fans really enjoying what they're witnessing inside the Rose Bowl tonight. Point any finger of blame towards Walker-Peters, who was maybe a bit slow to push out to Rafinha when that switch of play was on.
Yeah, I think what Rafinha does really well is that he's clever cutting back on his favoured left foot, but then having the awareness just to roll that ball beautifully back to Arthur, who finishes it sublimely, as you said. But yeah, it's been a big test. Semedo's got forward at every opportunity. You see it here, he takes that touch, almost spots the ball, but then the finish is absolutely perfect. Wonderful strike.
A slight thought the chance might have gone when he took that first touch, but the way he set himself absolutely perfectly.
Well, he just had that awareness that he had the time to take the touch to set himself up, and he certainly took it to great effect.
There was a foul there on Walker-Peters by Rafinha, so a chance now from the free kick for Tottenham to try and halve this deficit.
Well, Joe, they need something. One, they need possession of the ball. They need to try to take the sting away from Barcelona. Zīleson's been really untroubled in that Barcelona goal. Ériksson now with an opportunity, maybe just to test him.
Well, we all know about the set-piece prowess of Ériksson over his years with Tottenham. Can he produce something here? Eriksson's effort. It was a good one too. It required saving.
Well, it was the right side for the goalkeeper, a good height for him, and he made sure parrying it clear.
First save that's been forced upon ջ²Sitherson. Here's Llorente. Now Lucas. It's going to come back for Amos. All the way back with Ben Davies. Serge Aurier. Oh, he's done well. Aurier goes on. And he had 4 players there waiting for a ball in. But it was picked off by Sitherson. And now he has to get back pretty smartly, Aurier. Because down this left-hand side, there's a chance of Barcelona to try and get some men forward. ģᴏᴜ there is now pulled up.
He's pulled up with a hamstring injury there. He's getting back to cover Aurier, who's left upfield. But just as he comes out to step out to close down, he pulls up immediately. That could well be another hamstring injury. Just maybe fatigue at this time of the season with the physical work that the players are doing. Not quite ready for the explosive movements in games, and he pulled up immediately.
This is not what Spurs fans, or indeed Mauricio Pochettino, will be wanting to see.
You see Llorente and Aurier in discussion there. I think that's off the back of Aurier's cross to the goalkeeper. Llorente saying, I'm in a position at the back post, you need to find me there. Eriksen's free kick, which is on target, which tests Sitherson for the first time this evening, but a comfortable save for the Barcelona keeper. Aurier did so well to get into that crossing position. That's where it's so frustrating if you're a forward player. You get into a situation where you want to cross to attack, he puts it into the hands of the goalkeeper.
So the change then, we'll see. No chances taken, rightly so, by Spurs, and Sissoko going off and being replaced by ģᴏᴜnsᴘᴜr, French winger, who is back with Spurs again now, having been at Burnley on loan for the second half of last season. Just hope that injury for Sissoko is not as long-term as it could possibly be. It could be a matter of weeks, maybe a month or so, if it is that hamstring.
Yeah, you don't want any period of time out at all. At this time of the season, it's so vital to get that preparation under your belt. Sitting out through injury, sometimes you never make that up as long as the season goes on.
So funny old first half here in many ways. We've seen 2 goals for Barca, one of them absolutely outstanding, but 3 players forced off due to injuries. The perils of pre-season.
Absolutely. But we've also seen glimpses of the highest quality from Barcelona, in particular the way that they crafted the 2 goals.
Kudu to battle for the first time. Oh, lovely bit of skill by Rafinha. Caught the foul of Eriksen.
He's had a good first half as well, assisting for both the goals. A naturally left-sided player playing on the right. Certainly asked a lot of questions of Kyle Walker-Peters, the young Spurs left back.
They've been champions of Spain in 3 of the past 4 years, Barcelona. They won the title at a canter last season, a long way ahead of Atletico and Real Madrid. Bow out in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, though, off the back of that collapse against Roma, that remarkable second leg at the Olympico.
We heard Mauricio Pochettino talking about maybe a change of system. Possibly could introduce Davinson Sanchez as a 3 defensive system. Two wing-backs pushing Kyle Walker-Peters and Aurier further up in their second half to put more bodies into that midfield area, which undoubtedly Barcelona have dominated.
It was a system they used a few times last year, wasn't it, when Dyer would drop back into a back three. Eriksson. Ricochet didn't quite come the way of Nkudu. Semedo was there for Barcelona.
Nkudu's gone out to that left-hand side, not only as a left-sided player, but also, I think, just to try to thwart the threat of Semedo, who's got forward at every opportunity. It's going to be a good contest now to see whether Nkudu can keep Semedo back or whether Semedo is still going to charge forward and ask questions of Nkudu defensively.
Carter Vickers. He's been capped 3 times now by the USA national team. It's a lovely ball there to Nkudu. That tussle. Oh, that's a strong tackle by Rafinha. There was a cry of pain there by Nkudu, but he bounced up straight away.
Yeah, it was a strong challenge from Rafinha, but well timed.
It's going to be a Spurs corner. It's a quick one from Eriksson, trying to catch Barca out. That's Son. Played in, but into a pretty tame area. Citizen was there, and he's dispatched it quickly. Almost a wonderful pass. ģᴏᴜnsᴘᴜr came out. There could be a shot on there for Harvey, you know.
I wondered if he was going to take it on. You're right, Joe. As it rolled to him, it looked as if it was inviting him to strike it back into the open goal.
And he can strike a ball. We saw that, what, 25 minutes or so ago. Nearly a magnificent pass, wasn't it, from Citizen to set Barca away. But here's Nkudu now, in towards Llorente. It was a ball which was crying out to be attacked. There's Llorente again. Oh, that's a mistake. And here is a chance now for Rafinha. Wow, Carter Vickers, not for the first time, showing terrific recovery pace there for Spurs.
Yeah, that's the third time defensively. He's been exemplary as Carter Vickers.
Well, he's just 20, Cameron and Carter Vickers. Born in Southend. His father was a former NBA player.
Well, he's made a couple of good tackles, certainly 2 really good interceptions. Defended one-on-one against Semedo.
He's played 4 senior games for Spurs in competitive games, all in cup matches. He looks to be the part, doesn't he? Sergio Roberto. Here's Longley. Spread wide by Puig. Rafinha. Himself is back from a loan spell. He was with Inter in the second half of last season. Longley. Miranda.
Great management of the game for Barcelona. 2-0 up. They know the half-time break's coming. Frustrating Spurs, trying to just draw them out.
Longley. There's that pass again. It's been a regular weapon. And Raphinha has done really well to bring it down. Up against Walker-Peters. It's come off Davies. Aurier with the header. And Spurs escape there. Here's Son.
They really have used that diagonal well in crafting the 2 goals. Almost drawing Spurs to the right side of the field, switching play from left to right quickly to Raphinha. He finds himself in a lot of space on that right-hand side, and he's been, well, destructive there with the header for the first goal and the lay-back for the second.
Special venue this for Raphinha. His father, ᴛᴏᴛᴛᴜ, was a World Cup winner here with Brazil in '94. That shootout against the Italians. Roberto Baggio missed that decisive spot kick to see Brazil win the title.
Was that the World Cup final when Diana Ross missed it?
That was the opening ceremony, wasn't it, for the same World Cup? One of the more bizarre World Cup moments down the years.
It's amazing the things you remember. He's had a good first half, he really has.
Quite some football family, actually. His older brother is Thiago, former Barca player now at Bayern Munich. International with Spain. Here's Eriksson. And Kudu for Spurs. And the Llorente in the box. Son arriving now as well. All the way back with Ben Davies. Expected to have just 1 minute of the first half additional time. Amos. Singled out for praise by Pochettino for his performance against Roma, but he's not really been able to assert himself in this game tonight.
Well, he's not had the opportunity to get on the ball as much as he would like.
Nice touch there by Llorente. Here's Son, looking for Eriksson. It was an intricate pass and didn't quite come off there for Spurs.
Yeah, they just haven't found that quality in the final third that certainly they possess. The final passes have been pretty poor by their standards.
So we are now into added time. See a foul there on Juan Miranda, joined from Real Betis 4 years ago. Regular member of the Barcelona B team. A B team which was relegated last year from the second tier in Spain. Many of those players were performing in the UEFA Youth League, which was won by Barca last year. It's an absolute conveyor belt of talent, that La Masia Academy.
Well, you have to buy into the Barcelona way. You have to be of incredible talent and ability to even have the opportunity, but I think then you have to have a superb mentality to take on the challenge of trying to get into this team.
Well, that's half-time then at the Rose Bowl in California, and a quite wonderful first half for Barcelona, capped by that man's goal, Arthur. An outstanding strike on his first appearance in the famous jersey of Barca. That was the second goal after Munir had scored the first after a quarter of an hour. It's been a first half too where we've seen several players